Everybody, in this episode, we take a look at the skills gap that's really affecting your business.
Welcome to ClickAI Radio, where you'll learn the secrets to transforming your small to medium business. Grant has been helping businesses transform using technology for over 30 years. Advanced technologies like artificial intelligence have been available only to large companies and advanced technical teams. Grant will discuss how you can use to leverage AI and other technologies to grow your small to medium business. As a gift, Grant is offering his ebook, AI for Sales Growth, at clickairadio.com. Now, here's your host and biz tech geek, Grant Larson.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of ClickAI Radio. All right, so in overcoming the lack of skills in your business, now I'm going to start with the focus on AI itself, right, and what that looks like. And I'm going to pull here from certainly my own experiences, but also this is a report I saw from Deloitte. They said that, hey, they found that those companies that are seasoned with AI skills, they didn't feel they had a big skills gap. Oh, that makes sense, all right? The other thing they pointed out, though, is that the companies that are doing a lot of AI right now are really focusing more on transformational projects than on cost reduction. So from their perspective, hey, when you're getting started, you're often looking at cost reduction as a way to leverage AI. I don't know. My experience, I've found that it's been more around sales and of course, in the supply chain area, there's certainly cost reduction there. So, all right, that makes some sense. It also said that they broke it into three categories. There were those companies that were seasoned with AI, then the other categories are skilled with AI, and then the other were the starters. And said that the seasoned ones are, of course, relying on their own internal skilled resources, hence they're seasoned, I guess, by definition. Whereas the starters were leaning more on other companies, right? They're outsourcing some of the AI itself. Couple other points here from this report. So they indicated that 2/3 of these seasoned adopters are currently training their developers to create new AI solutions. They're providing more training for more of their employees to do AI work. So rather than leaning away from it, they're actually leaning more into it because of some of the benefits that they're pulling from it. In another report, this comes from The Hill, they said, look, there's concern about AI, an AI workforce, specifically an AI workforce shortage in the United States, becoming a top national security priority. And there is some calls for some legislative action. They're trying to compete with other countries like China and others. But, some see little data on the actual AI labor market dynamics. Is there really a workforce shortage? And if so, what does that look like? And how do you even quantify that? So you have to back up and think about the skills of AI itself. Now, given that my intent here is to target and speak with the small to medium business owner, for the most parts, I'm never going to say, go build your own data science team. It's too expensive, as well as you're not going to get the ROI on it. As we all know, we saw that report from MIT last year that said only 10% of companies that are building out their own teams like this are actually achieving the financial results. So we're not going to focus on that. Rather, I'm going to target, let's go after another approach. There's certainly a shortage of AI skills in the US, right? But hiring your own team to do that isn't going to be the best way. So if you use an AI service and rent the capabilities to get the insights at a fraction of the cost, then if there's not an AI skills gap from your organization, then what really is the gap that you're facing? What's missing in terms of you achieving the effects or the benefits of AI? Well, there is still a skills gap. And the skills gap, though, comes in areas that are not too strange sounding to us. In other words, it's not going to be, hey, can your particular business analyst deal with logistic regression algorithms? No. That's for the AI people to figure out. But as a small to medium business owner, you don't worry about that part But there are some skill sets that you do need to have or strengthen in your team in order to be effective with leveraging the effects of AI. So I'm going to pull from this report. This comes from GoScale. Go Skills. They reported that there were 3 hard skills lacking in recent graduates. This is interesting, right? And it's stuff you already know, right? It's writing proficiency, public speaking, and data analysis. Let's apply this to AI, right? So as a small to medium business owner, you want to apply AI. You don't need to go deep on all the AI skills, but what you do need to go deep on is your ability to leverage those insights into your business. And that's where you need to spend the time building up your team. Let's look at writing proficiency. Well, certainly AI does a great job at identifying those things that our brains can't see. So it's also critical that we describe, meaning we can write down what the business problems are and what the challenges are. So writing proficiency does affect the ability to properly point to and use and therefore adopt AI in your small to medium business. Public speaking. Well, this, of course, dramatically affects your ability to communicate, but specifically the ability to communicate the transformation, the iterative transformation that your business goes through when you apply AI. You never apply AI once. You apply it, make a couple small steps, and then apply it again. You do it incrementally, but you also need to be able to communicate what's the journey that we're on. All right, so public speaking, whether that's external to your customers, where they're seeing the impacts of this, or internally, the ability to speak is critical. And then third here was data analysis. And of course, the ability to create insights on your data using Excel or whatever other tools, Tableau, etc. Those are certainly critical, but in this case, they're critical to help point out that there's a case for AI. Let me illustrate that. I was talking with a business executive actually just last week who made a statement that although his engineers could do data analysis, they had the skills to use the various tools to do that, they could not estimate their supplier forecasting because the data was spread out across so many systems and was so many levels deep that just the analytics tools couldn't actually give them the insights they needed. This is a great place for AI to step in, right? And they were wise to recognize the limits of the data analysis. They said, we're not solving the problem, right? The data spread out too much. And so they saw the opportunity for AI to help out. So yes, be skilled at data analysis, but also be skilled at knowing what its limits are, right? So those are 3 hard skills that your teams today already have, but of course need to strengthen and bone up on. Let's look at some soft skills that was reported out here by this Go Skills report. The 5 most lacking soft skills in employees, they pointed out, was number 1, critical thinking and problem solving. Number 2, attention to detail. 3, communication. 4, leadership. And 5, teamwork. All right, so let's just pull these apart here real quick. So critical thinking and problem solving, obviously selecting the right use case to apply AI to solve business problems, that is critical. In fact, that thinking is so critical that we've seen multiple failed AI use cases in the market, right? And of course, it gives a black eye on AI, right? It's like, oh, you're applying AI. How? You're doing what with it? No. So as a small to medium business person, stay in the guardrails of sales use cases and supply chain use cases, right? Look in those areas and don't go outside of that, at least for now, right? As AI matures and grows, and as you feel like, hey, you've got a handle on this, then certainly go wider. But for now, just focus on in those 2 areas. Number 2, the attention to detail. Well, I'm an admitted nerd, and so it's easy for some of us to pay attention to detail, but this in fact becomes our weakness at times, right? We can't always see the business problem. So it's critical to help your people certainly have attention to detail, but also be able to step back and look at the context of that. And then this 3rd bucket here, communication, leadership, teamwork, you'll need to apply AI transformation as a team, all right? It's because it'll affect business processes as you transform your business, getting the insights from AI. So it turns out that your organization already has the fundamental skills for AI. not to build your own data science team, but rather to apply the resources. But what it means, though, is that you need to strengthen those current skills so that you can be more successful at applying. All right, everybody, thanks for joining. And until next time, upskill your team to leverage AI services to transform your business.
Thank you for joining Grant on ClickAI Radio. Don't forget to subscribe and leave feedback. And remember to download your free ebook. Visit clickairadio.com now.